So let's say kitchen, like planning, like menu planning, menu. Mm-hmm. And it only does a few words. There you go.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Cool. East, if you don't mind, I'd like to invite everyone to offer an entry that she can type in.
Oh yeah, total or kitchen, laundry, retail, and then whatever keywords that you would like. Does anyone have an idea?
Managing a challenging customer service situation or solving, some.
Yeah.
What if you just wrote accomplishment?
Accomplishment?
After customer service.
The problem is that my data set is so small that I only have a certain number of keywords. So I know what my keywords are, and I don't think I wrote that as one of them. But in the future, if I were to have a larger data set, then I could probably accommodate any word. Mm-hmm. As you can see, it gives you a resume point for retail work, a resume point. Not specific, really. It doesn't say much about what you were doing, but it says something about retail work. So that was great. I was pretty happy. Wonderful. Okay, so my code is next. This is the training file for my model, and it starts here by importing all of the different Hugging Face library because I use transformers, Hugging Face transformers. It's a kind of like, sorry about that. Okay, so now that you're just seeing this, oh, that was the original. This is the one that I trained my bot on. You can see I use the CPU. This is the configuration, my model, and the tokenizer that I use. Tokenizers are a big, long list of every possible word that the bot could use, and it translates them to tokens, which are numbers, and lists and lists of numbers are the only way that an AI can understand sentences. So it brings meaning to these numbers by associating them with each other. And by training AI on a large number of sentences, it will eventually be able to predict what the next token will be based on all of the numbers that you've given it before that.
Is that a standard? Like, did you pull the tokens from somewhere, or did you have to tokenize yourself?
Oh no, this is ChatGPT or GPT-2's tokenizer. So this was pre-generated for me. Thank God, because it's 50,000 tokens long. So the next thing I did was I used PEFT, which is a way of fine-tuning only the smallest amount of parameters possible. So say that a GPT-2 has about 124 million parameters, and when we're training, we're changing parameters based on what works best. So when we're training, that's what we're changing. And so when you train through PEFT, we're training only a small, tiny percentage of 124 million, which is 6,000. So it's about 0.004% or 0.00004% or something like that.
What was the total number of this?
Total number is 124 million parameters. So I'm only fine-tuning a very, very small percentage of them, which makes the data that I have that much more important, which is great because I have a small data set. Okay, so next I process the data sets. This huge function here is all processing the inputs so that the AI can understand them. So I just remove like any end tokens that are not needed. So like pad tokens at the end, like here, or if I need to like, this is just the input in general if you'd like to read it. But if I need to do anything else with the text before I hand it to the AI, I do it here. And I also tokenize it, turn it into the numbers. And I will also make it pad it to the max length so that the bot doesn't cut off sentences in the middle.
I have a quick question about the PEFT you were mentioning about.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you mentioned that, with PEFT, you're only like focusing on like a few parameters out of the 124 million. So I guess maybe you've mentioned this already, but maybe I didn't catch it. But how did you select those parameters that you wanted to use for PEFT?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so using a PEFT configuration on a model. So I'll show you exactly where it is. Here. So I turn the model into a PEFT model and it will select the trainable parameters for me.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I see. Line 139. I see that.
Yes,
That
here.
makes sense.
And so after I process all of my data sets, I can load it into a train eval data set, load it, or use a data loader to shuffle it so that the AI doesn't see any false patterns, using certain batch sizes. This is an argument to quicken my CPU like generation, or you understand what I mean. Optimizers, this helps with the training, your learning rates, how fast you want it to learn, because sometimes it will, if you have a model that is too big for the data that you have, it will start to memorize the data instead of actually learning its patterns. And so we need to make sure that our learning rate is not too high. Any other questions on that? Perfect. Okay, so next is the training process. This is when we're actually training everything. We have 3 different inputs from my process function here. And this is the input IDs, which is all of the sentences together. The attention mask basically is a 0. It looks like this. This is label mask, attention mask. It's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1 are where the tokens that the model should look at, and 0 are the ones that they shouldn't, aka buffer or like pad tokens. And then label mask would be the things that you want the bot to output. So only the resume point at the very end. And so here we're just making all of the ID, here's all the target IDs, all of the IDs that aren't the resume point are -100. So don't look at those at all, is what it's telling it. And so we feed this all in, it outputs our loss here. And we're able to see how much our bot is training. And so after that, we're going through and we're evaluating it on new information, seeing if it's actually learning or if it's just memorizing the training data. And for my AI, it has not been. For my model, it has not been. Or it has not been.
How would you know? Like, what's a sign that it's regurgitating versus learning?
That's a good question. So if your validation loss is going up, but your training loss is going down, that means it's memorizing it. So it's learning super well from the training data, but it's doing super bad on the tests, which are completely new data that the model has not seen at all.
Yeah, it's bad to have overfitting. It's really bad.
Overfitting is what it's called.
Yeah.
Super common.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I had to do PEFT, and why I had to do fine tuning, and had to use the smallest version of GPT, because GPT comes in 4 sizes: Distill GPT, GPT-2, GPT medium, and then I think XL is the last one. Anyways, okay, and then that's it. And then I save it to the hub, and I'll show you where it is now. Don't worry, I named my model after my cat. Here we go.
Okay, well, that was the question I was going to ask. What do you call it?
I call it Waldo model because my cat is named Waldo. So first, I'm going to show you all my data. This is the test set. There is 2 parts to training AI, or there's quite a few parts to training AI, but one of them is 2 of them are training and validation. So I had 2 training, a train set and a validation set. The validation.
Can I, sorry for interrupting. Would you mind if people jump in with questions just for clarification?
Oh, please do. I would love that. I love answering questions about any of this. So please, if you have any, just let me know. Does anyone have questions now? Great, wonderful. So the data that I have here is the middle, the label being the job, text being all of the data, the resume points, and then the context being a few words that the AI could use to generate a resume point like that. And context is something that I've actually added very recently to the data set because the model was having trouble creating more specific resume points to a tailored resume point. And I was thinking that the client or whoever's using, the user of it, may want something more specific. And so let's see. You can see there's quite a lot. We have 3 jobs. One of them is kitchen. The next one is laundry. And this one is retail. And the reason I picked those 3 jobs was because they're all pretty different. They're all jobs that you could have presumably in a prison environment, and all jobs that you could use on your resume, but phrase in a different way to use as experience. So all of these, none of these points mention incarceration, prison, commissary, etc., but they're all adjusted so that a person who was incarcerated could use them in that way.
Hey, I have a quick question for you about your context. Yeah, so I noticed in your context, some of the rows have 1 keyword and others have 2 keywords. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah. So some of the data points in here are more specific and need more information. Say, this one is just cleaning. So you're cleaning and sanitizing dishes versus cleaning your food preparation. So it needs something to differentiate it from the other ones that are just more basic.
I see. So just being a little more specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.